everyone, I'm Mrs. C. Welcome to Chronically Beautiful, where we're trying to live our best life even though we probably don't feel like it. And today we're going to talk about Zoom. How to look good in a Zoom, because let me tell you, I've been in enough of these things and seen enough double chins to know that we all need a little help with this. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick around. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy the video, please share it with a friend that could use it and give it a thumbs up. It really helps YouTube to notice me. And finally, don't forget to ring that bell so you can be notified of all of my future uploads. All right, we're gonna dive right in onto my webcam, which is not going to be very good quality, but we will do what we need to do. All right, let's go. Okay, is that on? Do I have it? Okay, is this it? All right, hi everyone. Welcome to okay. So as you can see, there's a lot of ways to look bad in a Zoom. Number one, lighting. Let's fix this right now. Oh, that's better, isn't it? So we're here. I am really guilty of the lighting thing because my desk happens to sit in front of a window. But if you can possibly avoid the window, never Zoom with a window behind you because you will be completely backlit and it's just not going to work. So what you want to do is get an overhead light on. Best case scenario, you have a window in front of you, and then you're going to get some beautiful natural light. Now, if you're someone like me and you happen to have some studio lighting in your house because you have a YouTube channel, well, that is pretty good too. So the first thing that we're looking at is lighting. So we want to have bright natural light facing us if we can. Never sit in front of a window, and then try to be as lit up as possible. Next, let's talk about this angle because good God. Oh, that's much better. Thank you, because oh my, those chins, I was struggling. So when you're doing a Zoom, ideally you would have your computer up higher than where your face is. So for a lot of us, we sit with our computer in our lap, and this is like just naturally a million chins. So you want to make sure if you're going to put your computer on your lap, put a couple of pillows up under it so that you can raise yourself up a little bit. And ideally, though, I like to put a couple of books or something on my desk to raise it up a little bit so that I am here and you're not seeing 1,000 chins, and you can really make it look quite good if you get yourself set up just right. So again, work on your angles, and maybe before you head into the room, check your camera and see where your angles are. Not to say that looking good is the best thing, but I know for me, I feel better when I look better. And when I'm in a Zoom and I'm trying to talk to people, I feel a lot more confident when I look good, when I'm trying to talk to people. So we're going to fiddle around with our angle a little bit more, and then we're going to come back with our next Zoom piece of advice. Okay. I'm back. So now let's think about our background. Now, it's always a little bit of a mess back here because this is all my crafting stuff, and if you're a crafter, you know it's a hot mess. But think about what's happening in your background. We already know not to sit in front of a window, but maybe you also don't want to sit in front of your very dirty kids' playroom or your bathroom that maybe hasn't been cleaned yet this week or month. Okay, maybe you don't want to be in the kitchen where there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the background. So you don't need to have a YouTube backdrop, but maybe try to come up with something that just looks nice. And remember that you're representing yourself in a Zoom. To how many people? We don't know. So make sure if you're in a large class of people and you want to look professional and put together, that you want to make sure your surroundings are professional and put together. Maybe you just create a little area in your room where you just have some nice things on a shelf or what have you. And I'm noticing right now in my backdrop, look. Now you know I'm a clearance shopper at Target because I didn't have this sticker turned around and I was too lazy to peel it off. Those little things make a difference. And the background also can help us look to learn about each other. So what do you want the people you're Zooming with to learn about you? Now, if you do not feel comfortable with any background in your home when you're Zooming, then you always have the option on Zoom to go into your preferences and choose a background. You can choose any picture that you want. You can upload any backdrop, or you can use one of the ones that they have. And I really encourage my students to do that if they're not feeling comfortable with their surroundings at home being on camera, because I do require that I can see my students on camera. So that's a good option if you're just not feeling good. Another good option, just take a blanket and some thumbtacks and pin it up on a wall, or put it over the top of the stuff that's behind you. When this is a hot mess, I use a backdrop, which is usually just a blanket hanging down behind me so you can't see all the projects I have going. So those are some options for backgrounds. Let's talk audio. There's so much background nonsense happening in most of our houses. I'm in a rare moment right now where my house is quiet, so I don't need to worry too much about it. But I know most of us have dogs and cats and siblings and parents and vacuum cleaners and things going on outside that are crazy. There is a guy hammering out there like mad. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I can't control him. So the idea is to try to find the quietest place that you can to conduct your Zoom meetings. If you're able to, again, not be in a common space where there's people cooking and clanging and pots and pans, try to avoid that if you can. If the only place that is quiet enough to do this is your bathroom, then again, you might want to get a blanket and throw it over, or sit in a place that you're in front of your backdrop. Your shower curtain could be your backdrop, and now you're in a nice quiet space without your toilet in the background, or, you know, kids screaming, or your dog carrying on, or your cat won't stop meowing for food. That's my problem when I'm in my kitchen. It also isn't a bad idea to say, hey guys, I'm in a Zoom. You know, let your family know. I'm in my office here, and I usually, before I start recording anything, if my family's home, I'll walk around and say, hey, just so you know, I'm about to start recording, and they know when the door is closed that I'm recording, and, you know, they'll be kind enough to keep it down a little bit, maybe not be, you know, screaming at Fortnite and what have you during that time. But it's okay. Don't be a jerk about it. You know, be polite, be kind. Now, obviously, when you're in a Zoom, you want to keep your mute on unless you're asked to talk. So that's another major big way to cut down on any kind of sound pollution during a Zoom, is just make sure that you're always on mute. One feature that Zoom has that's pretty cool is you can set it, again, in your preferences, that you'll be on mute no matter what, unless you press your space bar. If you press your space bar, it's kind of like holding down the button on a walkie-talkie. So that's a really great option that I like to use. That way you're not like trying to find the thing to unmute yourself, and you're just always defaulted to mute, which is nice because then your teachers aren't hearing your dad yelling at your little brother in the background, or you know, your sister unloading the dishwasher. Oh, sorry. Oh, you can tell that I'm still on my phone. Oh, yes, of course we can. So make sure that you're not on your phone or doing something else. You know, if you have your headphones on and you're clearly like looking in a different direction and we can see you moving, we know that you're streaming your game on a different TV. We know that you're looking at your phone if you only look off to this way. We also know if you're just staring at yourself the whole time in a Zoom. So make sure that you're trying to actually pay attention to what's going on in the Zoom, that you are looking at your camera when you're talking to someone, and that you're looking at the people who are talking as well. If you look at your camera, like I'm doing right now, you can tell that, you know, they can tell that you're looking at them. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just busy private chatting with a classmate over in the side. I'm sorry. Was that distracting? Yes, of course that's distracting. If you're chatting with somebody else in the Zoom off in the side, that means that you're not paying attention, and that makes it really frustrating for the people running your meeting or your teachers. So try to keep your private chat to a minimum, so that you are paying attention. If you need to ask a question, that's fine, but try to avoid just having a whole all-out conversation. It's kind of just like staying off the phone. You should be engaged in the meeting. And that brings me to my final point. We want to hear from you. Teachers want to hear from you. If we are asking for your attention, or your boss is asking for your attention, or somebody needs feedback, give that feedback. And I would suggest that if you have something to say, physically raise your hand, in addition to, if you want to use the hand raise button. I think most people will see this before they see the little icon. So I say physically raise your hand if you have something to add, and then when you're speaking to the rest of the Zoom group, make sure that you are speaking loudly and clearly. So we want you to be engaged. I want you to get out there and get involved with the chat, but make sure that you kind of know what you're going to say before you raise your hand, because time is usually pretty limited in a Zoom. So contribute, but with a purpose. Hi everyone, it's Editing Ann here. I just was reminded by a colleague of mine at school that I should include in this video, don't forget to have an appropriate screen name, your display name. Please make sure that you go in and you should have just your maybe first name, last initial, or even maybe just your first name, or maybe your teachers or your coworkers or your boss or whomever you're Zooming with wants you to have your first and last name. Make sure that you know what people are expecting, but default to just your first name. I would not have, you know, Car Lover Max Z 2960 on there, or whatever your nickname is, because then people don't know. So just wanted to throw that in there. You can go into your preferences and change that setting as well. Okay, bye. Okay, everyone, I really hope that this video will help you to look, feel, and act your best in all of your virtual meetings this year on Google Meet or Zoom or however else you do it. I think all of us are going to be involved with a lot of these types of meetings in the months to come. Okay, thank you so much for going on this adventure with me. Keep coming back. Take care of you.